If tonight your heart feels weary and sleep won't come, please lie still, take a deep breath, and listen to each rhythm of your own breathing. Perhaps all day long you have carried far too much. Thoughts, worries, pressures, like invisible threads wrapping around the mind, so even when the body is at rest, the mind keeps running without end. Yet a human life does not need to be that strong all the time. Happiness truly begins when we allow the mind to rest, to settle, to return to itself. Amid this ever-changing world, everyone has moments of weakness, sometimes only because of an unintentional word, a small failure, or a worry not yet shaped, and the whole night we cannot sleep. The more we think, the heavier the body feels. The more we try to forget, the more we remember. The more we wish for peaceful sleep, the more restless we become. Perhaps humans suffer not because life is too harsh, but because the mind has not learned how to dwell in the present moment. The Buddha taught that all suffering arises from the mind. When the mind is disturbed, even with a soft pillow beneath us, peace cannot be found. When the mind is still, even resting one's head on a stone, serenity is possible. Just as a lake stirred by wind becomes cloudy and cannot reflect the moon. But when the wind stops, the surface clears and the moon appears full again. So it is with our mind. When we stop resisting, stop grasping, stop clinging to what lies beyond our control, peace naturally returns. No one can escape suffering in this life. Some suffer from illness, some from love, some from wounds inside that have not yet healed. But the important thing is not how to eliminate suffering, but how to look at it with understanding. When we see clearly that all things are impermanent, we complain less, cling less. Suffering, too, passes like rain, leaving the earth clean and carrying the scent of new soil. Only when the mind stops running does suffering have a place to dissolve. Try releasing all thoughts in your head, and let your breath guide you back to the present. Each exhale is a letting go. Each inhale is a welcoming of peace. This breath is the bridge between body and mind, between the noisy world and the quiet realm within you. As you breathe in, smile gently. As you breathe out, let every burden drift away. No effort needed, no wishing required, just listening. Right now, you are alive, you are breathing, you are present in a complete moment that nothing can take away. Happiness is not found in having more, but in knowing how to stop and hear your own heart. To see that amid all the chaos, there is still a quiet place inside. A place untouched by time, unshaken by the world, always there when you return. Life is short, and no matter how long the night, dawn will come. But if the mind can rest even in the darkness, that itself is already sunrise. Tonight, let your mind rest in this way. You don't need to force sleep. Simply abide in stillness. Sleep will come like a flower blooming when the winds are calm, gentle, natural. And in the moment you realize that simply breathing, simply living in the present is already enough. You are touching true happiness, the kind that needs no searching outside, for it has always been within each breath. In every quiet pulse of your own heart. If tonight you lie awake and listen to the wind rustling the leaves outside, you will notice that everything around you is changing, moment by moment. The sound of the wind is never the same. The scent of the night never repeats. Even your own breathing, each inhale, each exhale, is never the breath before. Yet all our lives, we cling to what has passed, to those who have gone, to memories long faded. We suffer because we forget that life itself is impermanent and nothing lasts forever. All pain, all worries, will also pass, like a morning dewdrop sparkling in the sun. When the sun rises, it vanishes without a trace. Our lives, too, are like that dewdrop, beautiful, brief, fragile, and precious. The Buddha once taught that all things arise through conditions. When conditions gather, they form. When conditions disperse, they part. It seems simple, yet if contemplated deeply, it contains the very truth of life. We meet each other because conditions come together. When conditions end, no matter how tightly we hold on, things still fall apart. But because we refuse to see life through the lens of impermanence, we cling, we fear losing, we resent, and suffering arises. Some lose a loved one and cannot heal for a lifetime. Some lose wealth and drown in regret. Some lose love and never open their hearts again. But if we understand that nothing truly disappears, it only transforms, the heart becomes lighter. Death is not an ending, but a continuation of conditions. What fades is not lost, it simply returns to the natural cycle of all phenomena. In a small riverside village in the Mekong Delta lived an elderly woman named Grandma T. She was over 70, living alone in a tiny house by the river, where the sound of waves touching the shore was like a lullaby day and night. Her husband had passed more than 10 years before, yet she still kept the old mat they once shared each night. She continued to lay it out even though it was worn, torn, with holes and frayed fibers. To her, the mat was not just a place to sleep, it was a keepsake of a lifetime. The last trace of warmth from the one she loved, many advised her to replace it with a new, clean one, but she only shook her head and said, "If I change it, I'm afraid I'll forget the dust he left behind." Then one day a heavy rain came. Her roof leaked badly, and water dripped onto that old mat until it rotted apart. When she saw it no longer whole, she sat down, watching its fibers fall away, and burst into tears. Her tears blended with the rain, wetting her thin hands. She cried not only because the mat was ruined, but because it felt as though a part of her memories had been lost. Yet amid those tears, a thought suddenly arose. She remembered the monk at the nearby temple saying, "When a person departs, the body is gone, but love remains in the heart." She sat quietly for a long time, then looked out the porch, watching the rain soften, each droplet rolling down banana leaves and disappearing into the earth. Suddenly her heart felt strangely peaceful. She understood that, like the falling rain, all things arrive and leave. Nothing can be held forever. And perhaps her husband would not want her to grieve endlessly. If the mat is ruined, a new one can be laid. But love remains in the heart, in each breath. In every quiet afternoon, she sits by the porch, watching the river flow. From that day, she replaced the old mat. On the first night, lying on the new one, she no longer cried. She closed her eyes, smiled softly, and whispered as if speaking to the past, "My dear, I understand now. Life is impermanent, but love never fades." Her story seems simple, yet it contains a profound lesson. We suffer because we refuse to accept that everything changes. We cling to the past, fear loss, fear forgetting, fear loneliness, not knowing that this very clinging burdens the heart. When we accept, the heart becomes light. When we let go, peace arises. Life is like a river. Water flows on, never returning, yet fresh water constantly arrives. So it is with life. What leaves creates space for what is new. Without suffering, we could never understand happiness. Without parting, we could not cherish reunion. Without the long night, we would not value the morning light. Dear friend, if something in your heart has not yet been released, try sitting down and taking a deep breath. Let your mind rest in each rhythm of breath. As you breathe in, know that you are alive. As you breathe out, let every sorrow dissolve. This is the simplest way to practice letting go, to live fully in impermanence without fear. For impermanence is not something to fear. It is the very miracle of life. If nothing were impermanent, flowers would not bloom, rain would not fall, children would not grow, and the wounds in your heart would never heal. Because of impermanence, suffering comes to an end. Because of impermanence, we can begin again, love again, and live with ease. There is a small practice you can do right now. Before sleep, sit upright, close your eyes, and relax your entire body. Imagine yourself sitting by a riverbank, water flowing gently, wind blowing softly. Let your thoughts drift like fallen leaves carried downstream. When a sad thought appears, do not chase it away, do not hold it. Simply smile and say within, I know you are here. Let it go. Repeat this a few times and you will feel your heart gradually settling. The heaviness in your chest will fade, leaving only a stillness as gentle as moonlight on the water. When the mind is quiet, sleep will come naturally, like a flower opening in the night. When morning arrives, life remains impermanent, but with understanding, we no longer fear loss. For we know that everything has its causes and conditions. One arrives through causes. One leaves because conditions have ended. Things crumble as they must, but love, compassion, and the wholesome seeds we plant remain waiting to bloom in our consciousness. So, do not suffer because of loss, and do not fear change. Live kindly, live with enough, and abide in the present moment. When the mind is at peace, life, no matter how impermanent, becomes serene. Do you see? After every rain, there will always be a dawn. The dewdrop dissolves, yet the sun still rises in radiance. A flower withers, yet its fragrance lingers in the wind. A person departs, yet love remains in the heart of the one who stays. Impermanence does not steal anything from us. It only helps us recognize the value of what we have. So tonight, when you close your eyes, let your worries fade slowly with your breath. Do not fear tomorrow. Do not fear what has been lost. Simply feel the warm, miraculous life flowing through you. Then you will see that suffering is like passing rain. Just one ray of sunlight within the heart is enough to illuminate an entire life. And when you truly understand that, impermanence is the nature of all Dharma, that nothing lasts forever, that is the moment you become free. Free from attachment, free from fear, free from suffering. Then your sleep is no longer an escape from anxiety, but a peaceful return to your own true self. Like Grandma T lying quietly on her new mat, smiling at the river wind, at her memories, at impermanence itself. Life may be short, but when the heart is at peace, every night becomes a night of serenity. There are nights when we lie awake, unable to sleep, as voices echo endlessly in the mind, the voice of unfinished tasks, the voice of unresolved worries, the voice of memories still aching. The more we try to forget, the clearer they become. Like holding a cup of hot water, the tighter we grasp it, the more it burns. But if we simply set it down, the pain melts away. Life is the same. Much of the suffering we bear does not come from circumstances, but from holding on to things we were meant to release. We hold on to hurts, hold on to what is old, hold on to those who no longer wish to stay. And then we grow tired, we lose sleep, our hearts feel heavy as stone. That is the moment the mind is thirsting for one word: letting go. The Buddha taught that letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. When we let go, the heart becomes light. When the heart is light, the mind is at peace. But because humans are used to holding on, hearing the words let go makes many think of loss. In truth, letting go is not abandoning, nor running away. Letting go is understanding that some things cannot be held, no matter how much we wish to. It is seeing that everything has its own time, a time to arrive, a time to depart, a time to bloom, a time to wither. If we keep clutching a flower already wilted, we will have no hands left to receive the new blossom awaiting us. When we understand this, letting go is no longer difficult. It becomes a doorway to peace. In a small temple, halfway up a mountain, lived a kind, gentle old monk. He often taught the lay people that suffering arises, not because life is too harsh, but because the mind keeps holding on to what no longer belongs to it. One day, a man named Min came to the temple. He was a wealthy and successful businessman, a grand house, fine cars, many employees, yet his face was always tense. Each night he tossed and turned until near dawn. As he stepped into the temple courtyard, he saw falling leaves, heard the wind brushing over the roof tiles, and suddenly felt something unusual within his heart. For the first time in many years, he had a morning not surrounded by phones, work, or money. With palms joined, he asked softly, "Master, I have everything others dream of, yet my heart is never at peace. Each day feels like standing in a fierce wind. The stronger the wind blows, the more everything slips from my hands. I fear losing money, losing power, losing loved ones. The more I fear, the more I cannot sleep. My head feels as if it will explode." The monk smiled, but did not answer right away. He poured a cup of tea, then, instead of handing it to Min, he brought out a glass cup filled with hot water and gave it to him. Min held it. Within seconds, the heat stung his palm. He wanted to let go, yet he kept holding it, as if afraid to spill the water. The monk said gently, "If you keep holding it tight, the water will burn you. Only when you let go will you be safe." Startled, Min quickly set the cup down. The heat still throbbed in his hand. The monk asked, "Does it hurt?" He nodded. The monk continued, "Your life is the same. For years you have been grasping things that burn you, yet you never put them down. You cling to power, to fame, to wealth, and even to what others say about you. When someone insults you, you hold on to it. When someone betrays you, you hold on to it. When you lose money, you hold on to the regret. The more you hold, the hotter and more painful it becomes. Put it down, and you will be light at once." Min lowered his head in silence. The monk's words felt like cool water flowing into the depths of his heart. For so many years, he had never realized that he himself was the cause of his suffering. He blamed his work, blamed betrayal, blamed the world. But now he understood. Suffering does not come from outside. It comes from the stubbornness within the mind. He looked into the garden and saw leaves drifting freely in the wind. He suddenly realized he had lived like a dry branch, trying desperately to hold on to its falling leaves. The monk poured more tea and spoke. "Slowly letting go is not losing, it is conquering yourself. When you let go, you lose nothing. You only return to life what never truly belonged to you. Just as, when you set the hot cup down, you did not lose the water, you only saved your hand. The hardest thing in life is not holding on, but daring to let go. Holding on comes from fear. Letting go comes from understanding. From that day, Min began to change. He learned to listen, learned to breathe, learned to put his work aside after 8 p.m. and sit quietly with his breath. At first, his mind remained chaotic. Numbers, contracts, and plans still circled in his thoughts. But each time that happened, he remembered the hot cup and smiled gently. He told himself, set it down. Gradually, he began to sleep. His sleep was no longer a battle with thoughts, but a peaceful returning to himself. My dear friend, have you ever wondered why you suffer even when no one has truly harmed you? Why you feel tired even when your body is not ill? It is because your mind is holding too many hot cups. Perhaps it is a hurtful word, a wound not yet healed, a relationship long ended, or simply your worry for the future. Each time you hold on, you pour boiling water onto your own hands. Letting go does not mean forgetting, it means accepting. Accepting that everything has a cause, that every event is the fruit of past conditions. Perhaps it came to teach you to love more deeply, to understand more, to step back so as not to harm others. When we understand karma, we no longer blame life or blame people. We simply learn to live kindly and release what is unnecessary. There is a small practice you can try right now. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Place both hands on your chest. Relax your shoulders. Soften your heart. Inhale deeply. Feel the cool air entering your lungs. Exhale slowly. Imagine releasing worries, anger, regret. Do this 3 times, gently, slowly. Each breath is one more hot cup you put down. Breathe in, smile. Breathe out, let go. If you practice often, you will feel your mind grow still, your body relax, and sleep will come easily like a soft breeze moving through a quiet field. When we know how to let go, we open the door to peace. For when the mind no longer clings, life becomes clear like a calm lake. No fear, no jealousy, no worry about gain or loss. Whatever comes, we welcome. Whatever goes, we release. That is true freedom. Some say letting go is losing, but in truth, letting go is reclaiming yourself. In every moment the heart becomes lighter. We return closer to the Buddha nature that is naturally calm and radiant within us. Letting go does not mean leaving life behind. It means living in the world without being carried away by it. It means working without being bound by ambition, loving without clinging, living wholeheartedly yet not attaching. When you act with a pure mind, things unfold naturally. When you speak with kindness, others feel the peace within you. When you face loss with understanding, pain dissolves on its own. Like the hot cup, only when you place it down can your hand begin to heal. Remember, no one can sleep peacefully in a room full of wind. The mind is the same. If it is full of worries and clinging, how can it rest? Letting go closes the door to those restless winds. It allows the mind to rest, the heart to breathe. When we let go, sleep comes naturally, the body heals, the mind grows calm. And one day, looking back, you will smile when you realize that what once caused you pain was actually teaching you how to live more peacefully. So tonight, when you lie down, do not force your thoughts away. Do not struggle to forget. Just breathe. Just know that everything now present will eventually pass. Place all your fears down as gently as placing a hot cup on the table. Let your heart return to the stillness of a moonlit lake. Then you will see that letting go is the shortest path to peace, and in that quiet, sleep will arrive as softly as a lotus blooming in the night. There are nights when we lie in the dark, hearing the clock tick, yet the heart refuses to rest. The wind outside rustles the leaves. The rain taps softly on the roof. Everything is passing, yet the mind still clings. Many cannot sleep, not because the body aches or the bed is hard, but because in the mind something has not yet been closed. An old memory, an old wound. A person who is long gone still lingers inside, like a lake already calm, yet we keep throwing stones, sending ripples across the surface without end. Some carry memories of the past for decades, like an invisible weight on their shoulders. They think holding on is to cherish, to love, but in truth it is chaining themselves. Like wearing an old, worn-out coat forever, it only brings discomfort, while life keeps offering a new garment of the present moment. The Buddha taught that the past cannot be held. The future has not yet arrived, and only the present moment is real. Yet humans often live inside what is already gone. We return to the past like a lost bird, searching for a branch that has long dried, and the more we search, the more we hurt, the more sleepless we become. Some say they fear forgetting. They fear that if they let go, the one they loved will disappear forever. But love does not live in memory. It lives in the heart that is still alive. When we are peaceful, when we smile, when we cherish the present, love is truly present, like morning sunlight, gently filtering through the leaves. When we live in the present, those who have gone also find peace in their own realm. Holding on to sorrow does not bring anyone back. It only keeps the living from resting. Mindful breath once knew a woman named Lan, living in a quiet alley. She lost her husband when she was very young. Her daughter was only 8. For years, every night she took out their wedding photo. In that photo, they were smiling brightly, but in life, that smile had become a memory. Whenever she looked at it, her throat tightened and tears fell. She did not dare put the photo away, afraid it would mean forgetting, afraid it would betray the past. Every night before sleeping, she whispered, "I miss you." But the more she missed him, the more sleep fled from her. She lay awake listening to the wind passing through the areca palms, calling silently for someone who would never return. Then one night, her little daughter asked, "Mum, why are you sad all the time?" A simple voice that felt like a wake-up bell. She looked into her child's clear eyes and saw life, saw the present, saw what she had forgotten. She realized that her late husband would never wish to see his family suffer. He did not need tears, he needed their peace. The next morning, Lan woke early, cleaned the wedding photo, placed it on the altar, and bowed, "Rest peacefully. I will learn to live in peace so you may also be at ease." From that day, she slept better. Each night, instead of looking at the photo, she looked at her sleeping daughter, listened to her gentle breath, and felt her own heart grow still, like a lake when the wind stops. She understood that the past had gone, but love had not disappeared. It had simply become a quiet, enduring peace. Everyone has a drawer in their heart inside. Perhaps an old photo, a small gift, a letter never sent. But if we open that drawer every night, gazing endlessly at what has passed, how can there be room for peaceful sleep? Sometimes closing the drawer is not forgetting, it is letting memories rest. When we place the past in its proper place, we can finally live fully in the present. One who studies the Dharma understands that all things arise from conditions. When conditions end, things dissolve, like a dewdrop on a blade of grass when the sun rises. It vanishes, not because it is gone, but because it returns to the sky. So too with those we love, and with memories when they pass. It is not an ending, but a return to the natural cycle of causes and conditions. When we understand this, we no longer cling. Letting go of the past is not denial, it is acceptance. Acceptance that what once was is precious, but must be released for the heart to be free. Try sitting quietly in your room. Turn off the lights. Relax your shoulders. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. Feel your breath flowing like a small stream through a quiet forest at night. Each breath is a step home. Breathing in, I know I am alive. Breathing out, I smile to the present. As the breath slows, the mind settles. The noise of the world fades, leaving only the heartbeat and the presence of this very moment. In that stillness, whisper gently to yourself, what has passed has passed. Now is the time to rest. A simple sentence, yet spoken with full acceptance. It opens a door to peace. The Buddha taught that letting go is the path to liberation. No one can be at peace while clinging to what is gone. The past exists only in memory, and if held tightly, becomes a burden. But when released, it becomes wisdom. For everything we have been through, joy or sorrow, has taught us how to love in the right way. When we understand that all things are impermanent, we no longer blame, no longer resent, no longer regret. We simply smile and give thanks. Someone once asked, how can I forget the painful things of the past? A monk replied, you don't need to forget, just don't touch. Meaning, we can know it is there, but we do not stir it up, do not nourish it. Like a quiet lake, stop throwing stones, and it will clear on its own. Like a wound, stop scratching it, and it will heal. The human mind is the same. When we stop hurting ourselves, it naturally recovers to sleep well. We need not only a relaxed body, but a mind that has let go. If each night before sleeping we spend a few minutes listening to our breath, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, sleep will arrive as gently as incense smoke. Try closing your eyes and imagining yourself sitting beside a calm river. That river is your mind. The falling leaves are old memories. Instead of picking them up, simply watch them drift. One leaf passes. Another arrives, yet the water continues flowing, clear and quiet. When we can look at the past as drifting leaves upon a river, the heart is no longer entangled. When one knows how to pause, how to smile, how to forgive what has already passed, peace arises naturally. Sleep is no longer difficult. We do not need to search for sleep. Just rest in the present moment, and sleep will find us. Each night, close your eyes. Place your hand on your chest and whisper, "Thank you for what has passed." Then inhale deeply and exhale, releasing every weight within. Trust that in that very moment, your spirit is being cleansed. The echoes of the past will slowly fade, leaving only the stillness of a peaceful heart. When Lan placed the photo on the altar, her heart felt light, as though she had stepped through a doorway. She knew she would no longer live in the days of old. That night, she slept well, listening to the rain outside as if hearing her husband's voice calling from a far realm. But instead of crying, she smiled. That smile was not from forgetting, but from understanding that true love never disappears. It only changes form from tears into peace. One who can let go of the past is one who opens the door of serenity for their own heart. But whoever clings to old pain is like someone holding a burning coal. It only scorches their own hands. Learn to set it down gently, like placing a falling flower. Then breathe deeply and let the heart drift with the breath. When we do so, the night is no longer long, and sleep comes like a gentle friend sitting quietly beside us under the moonlight in this life. There are nights we cannot sleep, not because the body aches, but because there are wounds in the heart that have not yet healed. Anger, hurt, unspoken words, memories that tighten the chest whenever recalled. Some lie awake, hearing the rain, and their tears fall with it, because someone still lingers in their heart. Some tell themselves they have forgotten, yet with a single word, a single glance, a single image, all the old pain returns like a darkened storm. The more they try to forget, the heavier the heart becomes. The more they try to prove they no longer hate, the more they realize they have not yet found peace. The Buddha once taught that hatred cannot end hatred, only love can end hatred. That teaching is like cool water flowing through a desert within the heart. Yet to truly understand and practice, it is not easy. Anger is instinct. Compassion is insight. When we are hurt, our natural reaction is to strike back. But the more we strike, the more we suffer. The more we hold hatred, the more we resemble someone grasping a burning ember, only burning themselves. Letting go of resentment is not weakness, it is courage. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It is choosing peace for our own mind. Someone once asked, "How can I forgive the one who hurt me?" A monk answered, "You forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace." Forgiveness is not for others, it is for yourself, so you may sleep in ease. A house left closed for years will gather dust. If we do not open the window, how can the light enter? So it is with our heart. If we do not open it, the light of peace cannot enter. In a small riverside village lived two neighbors, Mr. Barr and Mrs. Sowell. They once were close, but because of a fence, a small piece of land unclear, in boundary arguments arose. What began as simple words became anger, then resentment. Each time they passed one another, they looked away. The villagers advised them with no success. Between their houses lay an empty patch of land. No one dared plant anything for fear of another quarrel. Years passed, Mr. Barr grew frail, and Mrs. Sow no longer had her old strength. Yet their anger remained. One day, Mrs. Sow fell ill. The illness crept quietly, weakening her. Hearing this, Mr. Barr, though still resentful, gently cooked a pot of porridge and brought it over. He stood outside the gate, hands trembling. After a long moment, he knocked softly. "Mrs. Sow, I brought you some porridge." The door opened slightly. She looked at him, surprised, moved. He only said, "Eat a little to regain strength." She looked at the steaming porridge, and tears filled her eyes. Taking his trembling hand, she whispered, "A small piece of land turned us into strangers." How needless! In that moment, a gentle wind seemed to pass through, carrying away years of HEAVINESS. Mr. Barr smiled kindly. "Yes, I am tired too. Remaining angry brings no joy." The two elders sat on the porch, listening to the wind in the bamboo, their hearts cleansed. The once empty land between their homes soon sprouted tiny wildflowers, planted by no one, yet blooming as if the earth understood that when hearts reconcile, everything can bloom. A small story, but a great lesson. When we release resentment and keep compassion, the world around us changes. Most suffering is not from the outside, it is from what we hold within. Some lose sleep not because their body aches, but because their heart has not forgiven. They resent family, resent friends, resent those who hurt them. But whoever we resent, we suffer first. When we forgive, we open the door and step out of the dark room ourselves. The Buddha taught that each person has two streams of water within, the murky water of anger and the clear water of compassion. When we nourish anger, the murky water rises and clouds the mind. When we nourish compassion, the clear water flows, washing away suffering. Thus, to find peace, we must choose the clear stream. Anger is like fire. It can burn down a forest of virtue that took years to cultivate. Compassion, even as small as a candle flame, can light the entire night. Letting go of resentment and keeping love is not easy, but it is the only path through which the heart can heal. Whenever you feel angry, try sitting still. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. In that breath, say quietly, "I know I am angry, but I choose peace." Then visualize the person you resent, not blaming, not hating, just smiling softly. At first it may be difficult, but with daily practice, the heart softens like a stone worn smooth by long rains. When the heart softens, sleep arrives gently. Here is a small practice for those who lose sleep due to resentment. Before bed, sit quietly, place your hand on your chest, and listen to your heartbeat. Imagine a cool, clear stream flowing through your heart, washing away all anger. Inhale deeply, exhale softly, and whisper, "I forgive. I choose love." Breathe this way 3 times, then close your eyes and let your breath lead you into sleep. The more you forgive, the faster sleep comes. By morning, your heart will feel as light as a white cloud. Forgiveness does not make you small, it makes you greater. One who knows how to let go is strong. One who knows how to love is wise. Remember, hatred is like poisonous wind, compassion is like lotus fragrance. If we let the poisonous wind blow forever, the tree of our heart will wither. But if we water it with compassion, it will sprout and bloom. A person who lives with compassion sleeps well, eats well, speaks gently. One who lives with resentment suffers heartache, suffers sleepless nights, suffers confusion. Everything begins in the mind. In the Buddha's teachings, compassion is not only loving others, but also loving ourselves. When we forgive, we embrace the wounded part within and say, "Enough now. Suffer no more." That is how healing begins. A wound truly heals only when we stop touching it. Forgiveness is stopping the wound from being scratched by resentment. Let it close on its own, like a lake becoming still after the rain. On some nights, if we listen carefully, we can hear our own heart speaking. Let go, listen to it. Let anger drift away with the night wind. Let compassion remain, light as morning dew on a leaf. For when compassion remains, life is still beautiful. But when the heart is full of resentment, even the brightest sky feels dark. Someone once said that after years of anger toward her mother, she finally wrote a letter of forgiveness. She did not send it. She simply wrote it to let everything out. She cried as she wrote, and when she finished, she slept peacefully. She said, "Forgiveness was not for my mother. It was for myself." A simple truth, yet profoundly deep. We think forgiveness is for others, but it is truly to free our own hearts. Letting go of resentment and keeping compassion opens the door to peace. When the heart holds no hatred, the night is no longer long. We sleep softly, like a child, for nothing remains to struggle with, to remember, or to blame. Whatever is unfinished, let it wait for the next life with a smile. Whatever is unsaid, release it gently into the night wind. When the heart is at peace, sleep returns like an old friend after many years away. Remember the Buddha's words, all hatred dissolves when compassion arises. Tonight, before you sleep, if someone still troubles your heart, whisper softly, I send compassion for they to suffer. Then exhale and smile. In that very moment, hatred fades, compassion blossoms, the mind becomes still. This is the most miraculous medicine that only you can give yourself. Life is short. Why hold on to resentment? Everyone who passes through our life, whether to love or to teach, is a karmic connection. Some come to teach us to love. Some come to teach us to let go. When we understand this, the heart grows gentle, open, light. We even feel gratitude toward those who once caused us pain, because through them we learned the lesson of compassion. Tonight, let all resentment dissolve with the wind. Let compassion remain, quiet as the moon suspended on the tip of a palm tree. When you lie down and close your eyes, whisper, thank you, life. Thank you, people. Thank you, myself. Your breath will slow, your heart will soften, and sleep will come as gently as temple incense at dusk. And in that sleep, you will see yourself smiling, for at last, you have learned to let go of resentment and keep compassion. Have you ever wondered why, even with everything in your hands, you still feel uneasy, still cannot sleep, still feel as though something is missing? Some spend a lifetime chasing fame, fortune, and wealth, yet the more they possess, the more uneasy they feel. Others live with only a simple home, a modest meal, yet they feel content and sleep peacefully. The difference lies not in money, but in whether the mind knows contentment. Contentment is the root of joy, the source of peaceful sleep that we all seek. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha taught, to know enough is to always have enough. To not know enough is never to be satisfied. Humans suffer not because they lack, but because they do not know how to stop. Desire is like a bottomless well. No matter how much we pour in, it never fills. One who lacks contentment will forever run, forever chase, forever search for something new, forgetting that happiness is right where they already stand. Perhaps that is why so many lie awake at night, calculating tomorrow, fearing loss, fearing lack, fearing others surpassing them. Such a mind is like the waves at sea, rising, crashing, never still. The Buddha taught that when the heart knows contentment, life, no matter how simple, feels full. My dear friend, after a long journey through the stories of letting go and loving, perhaps you have begun to feel that peace has never been far away. It does not lie in outer conditions, not in praise, not in success or loss, but in the very moment you are willing to pause and take one deep breath for yourself. Life is impermanent, like waves touching the shore. Today may be gentle, tomorrow may rise in wind. But what matters is not whether the waves are strong or weak, but whether your heart remains fragile in every shift, or has learned to stand steady through understanding. When we stop throwing stones into the lake of our own mind, the water clears by itself. When we stop scratching old wounds, they heal on their own. When we stop awakening painful memories, they rest quietly like a fallen leaf settling at the bottom of a river. Everything you have lived through, hurt, loss, or mistake, is not a burden, but a brick that helped build the person you are today. And when you can look at these things with gratitude instead of blame, you will see how spacious your heart truly is. No longer cramped by resentment, no longer burdened by holding on, only a wide open sky where love can dwell. Tonight, as you close your eyes, try placing your hand on your chest and listen to the quiet whisper of your heartbeat. You are still here, still given the chance to live a day gentler than yesterday. Each inhale is a receiving, each exhale is a release. In this way, the breath guides you back to yourself, to the peace that has never been lost, only momentarily forgotten. If these words have lightened your heart even a little, practice something simple. Each day, set down one old story. Each night, forgive one thing that has weighed on your heart. Each morning, smile because you have one more chance to live more kindly than the day before. Just that alone is already a long step on the path to peace. And if you find yourself wishing to go farther, wishing each day to listen, to heal, to be accompanied in quiet stillness, then let mindful breath be the place you return to. A place where each breath is a blessing offered, and every story is a small candle lit within the heart. Wishing you a truly gentle night, a sleep as light as drifting clouds, a heart as soft as morning dew, and a new journey beginning in the peace you so fully deserve.